Good morning. Well, it's morning. I'm in the morning. You may be watching this in the afternoon, but today we're going to talk about area of composite figures. So write this down. Remember, you can always pause if I go too fast. So area of composite figures, you have to remember this, so write these down. The area of a parallelogram is just base times height. And remember, the base and the height form a 90-degree angle. So base times height. And then the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Okay, and you may have also been taught that it is, let me get a different color, base times height divided by 2. These are the same thing. And I don't have the stuff to make that look right. So it's 1/2 base times height, the fraction. So whichever way you were taught, use that way. Okay. So I want you to pause it and draw this. We're only doing 4 problems. So I want you to draw them to the best of your ability. Draw these out. So pause it and I won't give you time, but you can pause it and then draw these out. Okay. And then come back and we'll talk about them. So on number 1, we have to find the area of this, but this is an odd shape. I have no idea what this shape is. So we have to split it up into shapes we know. Now, the thing about this is there's lots of different ways. So I want you to look at it and say, okay, this is visually how I would do it. So when I look at this, we could split it this way and have this little rectangle and then this big rectangle. We could split it this way and have a rectangle and a square. Or we could find the area of the whole thing and then subtract this little area. So whichever one makes sense to you. I am not going to go through all 3 of those. You guys will be so bored. I'm going to cut it right here just because that's how I visually saw it. Now, I'm a math teacher, so I could see right away that if I did it this way, we wouldn't have to do any other calculating. Okay, so this would be 8. This is just a rectangle, so it's a parallelogram. 8 times 9, which is 72. And then this right here is 6 times 6, which is 36. Okay, so now this rectangle 72, this square is 36. We want to know the total. So you're going to add them up. So 72 plus 36, 108 feet squared. So don't forget on area, your units are going to be squared. Okay, the next one. It looks like an arrow. You're like, I know that shape, it's an arrow. Well, do you know the area of an arrow? Okay, so we have to figure it out. This one will take a little bit more. Now, we could split it in half. That's not really going to help us much. Okay, we could maybe, to me, the only thing to do is really make it into a rectangle and a triangle. Okay, now these 2.5s go to this line right here. Okay, so this side is 25 and this is 15. Okay, so we're going to do 25 times 15. I don't think I have my calculator over here, so I may just have to pull up my calculator. Hold on. Okay, I pulled up my calculator. All right, so 25 times 15 equals 375. So right here, we're going to write 375. Okay, now this triangle is a little harder. All right, we know we need the base, which is right here, and we need the height. All right, because that's what's going to form the 90-degree angle. Well, we know this is 15, but how are we going to figure out what this whole base is right here? Well, we know this little part is 2.5 and this little part is 2.5. So we can add that up. 2.5 plus 2.5 is just 5. Okay, So, but then we got to figure out this area from here to here. Let me change colors so you guys can see it better. We got to figure out this area. They're not this area, but this length. Well, if this is 15 and it's a rectangle, we know this is 15. So from here to here is 15, and we know these two edges added together are 5. That means this whole length is 20. So if I were to redraw this triangle, this is 20. And this is 15. So remember, it's 1/2 or 20 times 15 divided by 2. So 20 times 15, which is 300, divide that by 2, which should be 150. Okay, so this triangle, this big triangle is 150. So we have to add them together, remember. 375 plus 150. If we're just adding them up, this is what, 12, 3, 4, 5. So 525 centimeters squared. Remember, you have to go back to the picture to see what it is, centimeters squared. Okay, now, I guess I can move that. 2 more. You guys can hang in there with me. All right, sorry they're so close together, but that's how I like snipped them on the page, and we're just stuck with it that way. We're not doing that one, so don't panic on me. Though you guys could do it that one, but we're not going to do it today if I can get it to go away. Okay. So let's pull this back up. Okay, so right here, this is kind of like the arrow one, except for there's not things sticking out. So you can see here that, to me, the easiest way, now you could split it here, but then you'd have to split it into triangles and things like that. So let's do a rectangle and a triangle, okay? So, or a square and a triangle, actually. So this is going to be 18 times 18, which, let's get our calculator. 18 times 18 equals 324. So that'd be 324 inches squared. So this, just like we learned last time, if this side is 18, then the right side is 18. Whoops. And if this right here is 9, that means the height is 9. Remember, on triangles, you can't use this slanted. You have to use the flat, and then wherever it forms a 90-degree angle. So this is going to be 18 times 9 divided by 2. Or if you do 1/2, when you put in your calculator, do 0.5 times 18 times 9. That's the same thing. Dividing it by 2, I'm going to do this one 0.5. So 0.5 times 18 times 9 equals 81. So this triangle is 81. Sometimes I circle it when I get a lot of things on there. So we have 324 plus 81. So I know what to circle, because sometimes you'll have like 5 shapes. 4 plus 1 is 5, 2 and 8 is 10, 3 and 1 is 4. So 405 inches squared is what this area is. Okay. Now this one is a trapezoid, but in 7th grade, or if you're in advanced, you will learn the formula for trapezoid, but we're not going to do that right now. We're just going to make it into rectangles and triangles, things we know. So this one's just going to be 8 times 4. This 8 and this 4, not this 8. This 8 and this 4, so that's 32. Now this one, I'm glad this one is on here. This one's a little trickier. You really got to look at it, because we need this, go for this triangle. We don't need this whole side. We just need this little side. So if this is 8, well, this whole thing is 8. How are we going to figure out what this is? Well, look over here. From here to here is 4. So we know over here, from here to here is 4. Well, if we know this whole thing is 8, this whole side is 8, and this one little side is 4, then what's this little side? It would have to be 4 as well, because 4 plus 4 is 8. So right here, the triangle is going to be 4 times 8, and then times 0.5, or divided by 2, however you were taught. 4 times 8 divided by 2. You'll get the same answer. Okay, so 0.5 times 4 times 8, which is 16. Which makes sense because 4 times 8 is 32. 32 divided by 2 is 16. So we have 32 and we have 16. So 48 yards squared. Don't forget that squared. That's important. Okay, 48 yards squared.